Hey guys, welcome back to the next video, continuation from before. So in this video, we're going to talk about the dependency between the activity, the preceding and the following activities. So there are many types of relationship between activities, and precedence network diagram or critical path method can also acknowledge this kind of relationship and can denote this in the diagram. First, let's take a look on the lags between activities. So it is assumed that an activity cannot start until all the immediately preceding activities, the preceding activities, previous activities have been completed, or all preceding activities have been finished. So the following activity can immediately start, or in this case, burst activity. Like for example, if the three following activities cannot start, if you have three activities, the three activities cannot start unless the preceding activities, this is the preceding activities, has been finished uh, or completed. It's finished. If you finish here, then you can start all the uh, following activities. So this assumption are mostly true. So these are mostly true, but there are other conditions that makes the relationship between the activities more complex. So such a system involves use of lags between activities. So these are the common activities that we have seen before, but there are other conditions that define the relationship between the activities. So the first one is, this is a common one: finish to start. So finish, you need to finish the activities need to finish first so that you can start. So this is a common form of activity dependency. So in this case, activity 190 can start no earlier than the completion of activity 180. 190 can only start once 180 is finished. So the wall concrete can be poured immediately after the wall forms have been completed with no delay in between. So this is basically the explanation on this activity of these two activities. So example number 2, activity 200 can start no earlier than completion of activity 190. Activity 200 can start no earlier than the completion of activity 190 after 3 days. So here you have lag, 3 days lag. So you can only strip the wall form after 3 days of pouring wall concrete. So you finish the work in 2 days. So at day 41, you start and finish at day 43. So after 3 days, which is day 43, 46, can you only strip the wall form. So early start of activity 200 is equal to activity early finish of 190 plus 3. So the earliest start of activity 200 is 46. So in Microsoft project, this type of relationship is defined in predecessor. You can write this down in column of predecessor with 190 fs plus 3. So the Microsoft project uh, will create a relationship between these two activities of 190 and 200 as having a finish to start relationship with lag of 3 days. So another form of dependency is start to start. Start to start, activity 110 can only start concurrently with activity 120. So activity 110 can start concurrently. Concurrently is the keyword. Activity 110 and 120 can start concurrently, as you can see here in this relationship here. start to start. So earliest start 110 is equal to earliest start of 120. So in Microsoft Project, you can write it down in the task 120 predecessor. You can write it 110 SS. So the 120 can only start concurrently with 110. So another form, if you have one a day, like one day, for example, in example number 4 here, street wall forms and rub and patch concrete. So activity 200 and 210. Activity 200 can only start after start date of activity 210. So the earliest start of activity, mistake here, earliest start of activity 210. So the earliest start of activity 210 here is equal to activity earliest start activity 200 plus this one is lag 1 day. So ES 200 plus lag 1 day, which is this is 46, day 46 plus 1 day. So the earliest start will be on day 47. This can be written in Microsoft Project in the predecessor column as 110 SS plus 1. So this is another relationship between activities, which is finish to finish. The activity, the two related activity will finish on the same day, or the condition of finish depends on the finish of another activity. So basically, it's like that. As you can see here, the arrow between tie column rebar and place column forms, activity 260 and 270. The relationship is the arrow is connected on earliest finish and the earliest finish of each activity. This is how they are connected. So as you can see here, earliest finish of 260 is equal to earliest finish of 270. So day 69 complete tie column rebar. At the same day, place column form also complete. So they finish on the same day. They should finish on the same day. Usually this is based on the sequence of work. So once you finish the column rebar, you place the form work on the same day, so you can pour on the next day or the same day. So it depends on your type of work and the sequence of work, but it is a form of activity relationship. So in Microsoft Project, you can write it down. For example, if you are setting it on task 270, so the predecessor column, you need to write 260FF. So this will give the coding to the Microsoft Project so that the two activities are will finish concurrently. You can also add lag 3 days. For example, in this activity 170, you place wall rebar, and then activity 180, you complete the wall forms, but there is a condition of having 3 days lag. So you have this condition of 3 days lag, maybe for inspection before closing up the form work, or you need to prepare false work or access working access platform for the worker. So whatever it is, you add 3 days if that is the condition. So the earliest finish of activity 180 will be equal to activity this one is actually 170, typo here. So earliest finish of activity 170 plus 3, as you can see here, day 38 earliest finish. So day 38 plus 3, so day 41 will be the earliest finish for activity 180. So this is in interdependent in the precedence network diagram. This is how you draw it. And in Microsoft Project, you can write it down as 2060FF. there's a mistake here. It's actually 1 is 0. In task 1 is 0, you fill up the predecessor column as 170, 170, task 170, FF plus 3. So you get the same result as this, and also the same diagram with the precedence network diagram. So this is another type, the last type, which is start to finish. So the precedent activity start, and then the following activity finish. It's kind of awkward, rarely used, but there is a relationship like this, and it depends on the type of work again, the sequence of work, how you prepare your work. So here is the relationship, the arrow relationship between these two activities of activity 50 and 90. Activity 50 is excavate for concrete mat. You do excavation to do pad foundation or mat foundation, and then you place form mats, you place the formwork. So the relationship is the ES, earliest start, to the earliest finish. So at day 10, activity 50 start. So with the lack of 2 days, in 2 days time, this activity need to finish. Activity 19 needs to finish, which is at day 12. So based on this diagram, you can calculate the earliest finish for day activity 90 will be equal to earliest start for day activity 50 plus 2. So at day 12, you get the earliest finish for activity 90. In Microsoft project, on task 90, you can write at the predecessor column 50 SF plus 2. So you get the same relationship, the same network as the precedence diagram. Like or lead can also happen in negative day. In negative day, for example, this one, earliest finish for activity 180 is equal to earliest finish for activity 170 minus 1, which is 21 minus 1. So at day 20, tie wall rebar would finish, and then place formwork will start. Will also finish on the next day. So you need to finish tie wall rebar first before finishing the place wall forms. So you finish the rebar first, and then you cover up with formwork. Or you can also write down this is finish to finish. If you are aware here, this is finish to finish, finish to finish, finish to finish relationship with lack of one. On at the bottom here, you can see there is a start to start here plus 1. So at day 21, activity 170 start. At day 22, lack of 1 day, activity 180 start also. So like 1 day, but the relationship is start to start. So it's a combination, and it produce two different relationship, but it produce the same result. It is uncommon, but in job activity logic, as this is what happens, so it is logical to put this kind of relationship, either finish to finish or start to finish. It depends. Sometimes, for example, in road pavement, when you're constructing road pavement, for example, in housing area, so you might want to start laying laying and compacting your crush aggregate first. But partially, you might want to start once you finish like 50%. You want to start laying uh, your asphalt concrete, asphalt. You want to lay your pavement. So you don't want to have a finish to start. You finish crush run first, then start, then only start, because you want to catch up time. So you plan your work. Maybe you want to say like 50% laying crush runs, and you want to start paving the road. So you can have that relationship like start to start laying crush run, and then plus 30 days start paving, that kind of relationship. So it depends on your uh, work planning, but uh, of course the relationship is there for your perusal. You can use that kind of relationship, and also that's how people know project team understand your planning work by clearing out, by defining the relationship between these activities. So as you can see here, let's say if you wanna write this down in Microsoft project in task 180 in the predecessor column, you would write this as 170 finish to finish minus 2. Actually this one is minus 1, or you can write it down as SS 170 SS SS plus 1. So it depends on your planning, how the job logic define the work, so that not only planner can understand the program or the CPM, but also the executioner, the operation team. Okay, yeah, that will be all on the relationship. Next, we let's discuss on the milestone. So what is milestones? So milestones are the points in time. Points have in time that have been identified as being important intermediate reference, important intermediate reference points during the accomplishment of work. So the work has not been fully completed yet, but milestone like mark it on the stages. For example, you have finished building the shop unit. So you have finished shop unit, but actually the project consists of building the shop unit, and then paving the road, and then installing uh, uh, utilities, installing the street lighting. So there's more milestone in it. There's many stages in it. You have completed the shop unit. So milestone are the best way to mark that you have finished a certain portion of a project. So for example, you finish shop unit, so the milestone will be completed the shop unit, and then next milestone completed infrastructure work. So it helps in your planning work. It helps uh, in your tracking your progress of your project, in for paymaster to pay their contractors. They have the assurance that they have completed a certain point of project, and also helps your paymaster, anyone in the project team to look at the bigger picture, rather than look in a single smaller activity. So milestone events can include dates. It can include dates imposed by the owner for finishing certain tasks, as well as target dates set by the contractor for completing certain segments of work. So you can add date set by the owner, or set by the contractor. The milestone is usually the scheduled date for either the start or the completion of some difficult or important aspect of the project. So it marks maybe a highly technical portion of project. For example, in bridges, start when you have completed launching the beam. So launching beam is the highly technical, involves a public user, especially in live road. So you need to stop road users. You need to apply permit. You need to uh, assemble your traffic management plan, traffic management layout, traffic management officer need to be there. So it is very difficult and highly technical, and involves a lot of parameters and involves a lot of stakeholders. So that marks a milestone worth to be marked as milestone. And also sometimes the milestone marks the important aspect of the project. And on large projects, contractors frequently establish a series of milestones extending throughout the project and use this as a reference points for project monitoring. So you want to monitor the progress of the project. So milestone helps you give you the helicopter view, the bird overview on the whole project rather than seeing a lot of activities, small activity sequence. So milestone helps give you a larger gauge on the progress of the project. Events or points in time do not appear as such on the customary precedence diagram. Nevertheless, milestone can be shown on a project network. You can show it in CPM. Should the project team desire, should the client desire to see this milestone on the precedence diagram or in the Microsoft project Gantt chart. So the usual convention is to show an event as 0 time. Usually we put this as 0 time. So to mark it as a milestone. At the appropriate location within the diagram, you mark it in the diagram. So any information pertaining to a milestone and considered to be useful, you can uh, enter, enter, can be entered in the diagram. So let's see the example here. As you can see here, to illustrate how a milestone can be indicated on precedence network, suppose that the target date for highway bridge job is when the abutment have been completed. When you've been completed the abutment and the abutment have been backfilled, so that the water flowing down the ravine being spanned by the bridge is no longer a potential problem. For example, in this project, you have a river here, ravine here, so you block the flowing water here coming because you want to do your piling work and whatnot, and then doing abutment here, and then abutment wing wall. So you stop the water here, or you divert the water here into here. So once you finish this thing and it's been completed, so that marks a like important aspect of the project lah. So that's why in this example, abutment and backfilling of abutment have been set as the milestone here. As you can see here, milestone number 1, abutment finished. So figure 5.1 shows this point in time. Figure 5.1 reached with the completion of activity 310. So you have 310 here, complete. So milestone is finished. You have finished this milestone. A symbolic convention commonly used for depicting milestone on precedence diagram is shown in figure 5.1 and 1.16 as the start and finish activities. As you can see here in this activity 315, this is your milestone. So that will be all on the milestone. It doesn't have any duration. So one day event. If in Microsoft Project is also noted as that. So duration is 0. The relationship you don't have any to enter any type of relationship, any lag between. You just put on, like for example, this in the predecessor of 315. So in the predecessor column, so you will write 310, 310. So that's the predecessor activity for activity milestone. This milestone activity 315. And the preceding the predecessor will be activity 310. So once you completed this milestone, it will be connected to the next activity, which is the deck concreting here. So it is connected, finish to start to finish. 23rd, and finish in 23rd will start this activity. And also you can note it here, this is the critical activity, critical path for this project, this bridge project here. So so that will be all on milestone, and also likes on network diagram. I hope this is beneficial for you, and see you in the next video.